My friend, I want to talk to you tonight about something tender, something sacred, and something that might be stirring in your heart even now. You loved her. You gave your heart, your time, your quiet strength, and somewhere along the way, she left. But now she comes back. Not with the same laughter, not with the same boldness. She returns with a tremble in her voice, with tears that speak louder than any apology. She says, "I didn't know what I had." And I ask you tonight, why is it that we only recognize light when we're sitting in darkness? Why do the words we need most often come too late? She may have walked away chasing the noise of this world, thinking love was a thrill, not a commitment. But life has a way of peeling back illusions. And when her nights grow quiet and her friends are gone and the mirror shows her more truth than makeup can cover, that's when she says it. You were different. You were good to me. Friend, if you're hearing those words now, or if you one day do know this, her regret is not your responsibility. Her realization is not your redemption. It's a reflection of a deeper hunger in all of us. The hunger to be truly known, truly loved, and never forsaken. And let me tell you something. When the world turns its back on love, love still stands. That's what you did. You stood. You gave. You endured. But now she knows. This speech isn't just about her. It's about you. It's about the strength you carried, the faithfulness you gave, and the healing you still need. So stay with me, because I want to take you deeper into this moment of regret. Not to feed bitterness, but to show you the truth that can set you free. Because what she says when she regrets losing you reveals not just her story, but your worth, and you need to hear that. Regret doesn't always come like a thunderclap. Sometimes it whispers. It lingers in the late hours of the night when she's lying awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the sound of your voice. It comes not just from losing a person, but from losing the goodness they brought into your life. When she regrets losing you, it's not always because she's lonely. It's because she remembers. She remembers how you were there when no one else stayed. She remembers how you listened when she didn't even know how to speak her pain. She remembers how you held space for her confusion, how you loved her even when she couldn't love herself. And that memory becomes a haunting echo. At first, she might not even recognize it. She goes on, maybe even laughs, posts pictures, tries to convince herself and others that she's fine. But the heart has a way of keeping score. Not the petty kind of score, but the eternal kind. The soul knows when it has lost something real. And slowly, the smile fades. The conversations with others begin to feel hollow. The excitement wears off, because she starts to realize that not every man is kind. Not every man listens. Not every man chooses her when it's hard. That's when regret begins to whisper. It says, "You didn't just lose a man. You lost safety. You lost truth. You lost someone who knew your worth before you did." And in that moment, her heart aches not just for you, but for the version of herself that was loved by you. That's the part she misses most. Because in your presence, she was seen. In your love, she was safe. And now that she's gone, she sees the reflection of that blessing. And she knows she walked away from something rare. See, regret always follows revelation. It's when the fog lifts that you realize the road you left behind led to peace, not chaos. It's when the noise dies down that the memory of quiet love speaks the loudest. And that memory becomes a sermon to her soul. It says, "That man wasn't perfect, but he was faithful. He wasn't flashy, but he was good." That's the blessing she lost. That's the voice she hears now, your voice in a world that's gone cold. She may not admit it out loud. Pride is powerful, but deep down she knows. And no matter how far she runs or how high she builds the walls, the echo follows her. It plays in her favorite songs. It visits her in familiar places. It speaks in moments of stillness. And every time it speaks, it reminds her, you were the blessing, you were the constant, and she let you go. There is a profound sorrow in the words that come too late. Often, when she finally gathers the courage to speak, her voice trembles not just with regret, but with the weight of missed opportunity. The apology she utters is heavy with the realization that time cannot be rewound, and that the moments she once took for granted are now forever gone. It's a painful truth that many of us face, that the words we need most often come after the doors have closed and the hearts have begun to heal from their wounds, without us. When she says, "I'm sorry," it's not merely an expression of remorse, it is a confession of a deeper awakening. She acknowledges her failures, not just to you, but to herself. She admits that she didn't value the love and loyalty you offered. Her words come as a shadow, a haunting echo of the care she ignored, the patience she wore thin, and the promises she broke. It's a recognition that what she lost wasn't just a relationship, but a sanctuary where she was cherished for who she truly was. Too often, people mistake love for convenience, for excitement, or for what dazzles in the moment. But true love is steadfast. It waits through storms and shines in quiet moments. Her words, when they finally come, reveal a soul stripped bare of illusions. They reveal the cost of wandering too far from what was real. She speaks not only from regret, but from a place of understanding that true love cannot be taken for granted. And yet those words arrive in a time when the heart has been forced to grow tougher. When her "I'm sorry" is spoken, it can feel like a distant shore calling to a ship long since sailed. Your heart, which once beat for her, may now be guarded, scarred by the very silence she broke. Those words may bring relief to her burden, but they also come with the harsh reality that some bridges once burned leave ashes that cannot be rekindled. Still, the power in her words is undeniable. They serve as a testimony of the lessons learned too late. They remind us that regret is not only about loss but about awakening. A painful but necessary awakening that forces us to confront who we were and what we let slip away. When she says these words, she is not just mourning the past, she is grappling with the truth of what she failed to nurture and protect. In the silence that follows her apology, there is a moment of reckoning. For you, it is a time to decide whether the heart that once gave so much can open again. For her, it is a time to face the consequences of choices made and to seek forgiveness, not just from you, but from herself. The words she speaks in regret are heavy, yes, but they also carry a seed of hope, that in this brokenness there may yet be growth, healing, and wisdom for the future. But remember this, no matter how heartfelt the words, they cannot undo what has been lost. They are a call to reflection, a warning to cherish what is before it slips away. And when those words come too late, they become a reminder etched deep into the soul about the sacredness of love, the pain of loss, and the preciousness of time. You were her silent anchor. In a world full of shifting sands and unpredictable storms, you were the steady ground beneath her feet. She may not have said it aloud, and perhaps she didn't even fully realize it at the time, but you were the quiet force that held her together when everything else seemed to fall apart. While she wandered, chasing illusions or testing the boundaries of her freedom, you remained. You didn't flinch when her moods changed, or when her heart grew restless. You didn't run when her fears whispered lies or when her doubts built walls around her. You stayed. You were her anchor, the one thing she could always come back to, even if she didn't know it. There is something powerful about being the silent anchor. It's a role that often goes unnoticed and unappreciated until it's gone. People are drawn to the loud, the flashy, the exciting. But the quiet strength, the unshakable presence of someone who believes in you without condition, that's rare. And when she finally recognizes what she lost, it's not because someone else dazzled her, but because she missed the peace that your presence brought. She may have chased after storms, but she never found shelter as safe and sure as the refuge you quietly provided. You were the one who listened without judgment, who forgave without resentment, who loved without demanding. You offered a steady heart in the chaos, a calm hand in the confusion. And that kind of love doesn't come wrapped in grand gestures or dramatic moments. It's woven into the everyday acts of patience, kindness, and faithfulness. It's the man who stays up late when she can't sleep, who answers the call when she's scared, who holds her silence with gentle understanding. You were that man. You were her silent anchor. Now, in the quiet aftermath of her regret, she feels the absence of your stillness. She notices the space you occupied, the space that no one else can fill. Others may come with excitement and noise, but they don't bring the quiet strength that steadied her soul. She remembers how your presence was a kind of home, a place where she could rest from the battle she fought inside herself. That's what she lost. Not just you, but the sanctuary of your steady love. And so, when she says she regrets losing you, what she's really saying is that she regrets losing the calm in the storm, the anchor in the shifting tides of life. She regrets letting go of the man who held firm when everything else was slipping away. She regrets not valuing the quiet power of your love until it was no longer hers to hold. This is why the words of regret are so heavy, because they carry the weight of knowing she had something irreplaceable, something steady and true, and she let it slip through her fingers. She may try to find that feeling elsewhere, but no one else can be what you were to her. No one else can be the silent anchor that steadied her heart when she needed it most. Love is only valued when it's absent. This harsh truth is one that many come to realize far too late. While she had you, she may not have seen the full measure of your love. Not because you were lacking, but because love often wears its greatest strength in quiet humility rather than loud declarations. When love is present, it becomes part of the background, like the steady beat of a heart, unnoticed until it stops. And when she finally faces the absence of your love, she is forced to reckon with what she took for granted. It is a mystery of the human heart that we often fail to appreciate the treasures closest to us until they are gone. She lived with the blessing of your faithfulness, your kindness, your unwavering commitment, yet she did not fully grasp how rare it was to have someone who stood by her through the storms and the calm. The world might have tempted her with distractions, momentary thrills, or empty promises that sparkled briefly, but left no warmth. And so, she wandered, seeking something she thought she lacked, not realizing that the greatest gift was right there beside her all along. When love is present, it asks little for recognition. It gives freely without counting the cost. But absence is a different teacher. When you are gone, the silence you leave behind becomes deafening. She feels the void where your love once lived, and suddenly every little thing you did, the sacrifices, the patience, the quiet acts of care, are magnified in her mind. The laughter you shared, the moments of comfort you gave, the strength you lent without complaint, all become clear like a beacon in the dark. And she wishes she could reach back in time to hold on to what she had before it slipped away. This realization comes with a bitter sting, because she understands that love cannot be forced or manufactured. It cannot be bought or borrowed. It grows only in the soil of faithfulness, trust, and mutual respect. When those are absent, no amount of charm or passion can replace the deep roots you planted. The love she lost was not flashy, but it was true. It was steady, reliable, and nourishing. And now, in her loneliness, she sees what she failed to value when it was there. Her regret speaks to a universal truth, that the heart often does not recognize its own riches until it has lost them. And this is why many plead for a second chance, not just to rekindle a romance, but to reclaim the understanding of what true love means. But the tragedy is that time does not always grant such grace. Sometimes love's absence teaches the hardest lessons, and the opportunity to cherish it is forever lost. Yet, this absence can also be a call to cherish love when it is present, to recognize faithfulness in the everyday, and to hold tightly to those who love us well. Because love, once lost, becomes a painful reminder of what was and what might have been. And in that space, she finally sees you, the man who loved her without condition, the one she failed to value until it was too late. Her pride built a wall. She may not have said it out loud, but she lived it. It was in the way she pushed you away when things got too vulnerable. It was in the way she turned small disagreements into power struggles, not because she didn't care, but because admitting she cared too much scared her. Pride has a way of masking fear. It convinces us that needing someone is weakness, that yielding is losing, and that vulnerability is a threat rather than a bridge. So she kept her guard up. She wanted control, not connection. She wanted to win the moment instead of preserve the relationship. And when she walked away, it wasn't strength, it was fear in disguise. But pride is a lonely master. It promises self-sufficiency, but delivers isolation. It tells you you're right, but leaves you empty. It builds high walls to protect the heart, but those same walls become a prison. Over time, she begins to feel it. Not right away, no, in the beginning, she may even feel empowered. The pride tells her she made the right decision, that she's better off, that she deserves more. But nights grow quiet, and the silence grows loud. And that's when it starts to dawn on her. She wasn't just protecting herself. She was keeping out the very love she needed most. And now she speaks, maybe months later, maybe years. But the tone is different. It's softer. It's not the voice of someone standing tall on the other side of the wall. It's the voice of someone sitting in the ruins of it. Her pride has cracked. Life, pain, and time have done what arguments and logic couldn't. They've shown her the cost of holding herself too tightly. Now she speaks not from defiance, but from surrender. She may say, "I didn't realize what I had," or "I pushed you away," or even just "I miss you." And those words don't sound like weakness anymore. They sound like truth finally being set free. What she's really saying is, "I thought I had to protect myself from you. I didn't know I was protecting myself from love. And it hurts because you were willing. You were patient. You were ready to break down those walls brick by brick with nothing but your bare hands and an open heart. But pride never lets love all the way in, not until it's broken." So now she faces the truth she tried to avoid. The wall she built didn't keep her safe. It kept her lonely. And behind that wall, she lost not just a relationship, but a man who was willing to love her despite it all. She knows now that pride didn't save her. It cost her. And the voice you hear now is not a woman who's trying to win you back. It's a woman who's finally realized she never should have pushed you away. Truth that many men, especially those who love deeply, struggle to understand. You saw her brokenness. You saw the pain behind her smile, the insecurity behind her silence, and the confusion in her choices. And because you cared, you tried to fix it. You poured yourself into her, hoping your love would heal her wounds, your patience would soften her past, and your presence would be enough to give her peace. You tried to be her rock, her refuge, her redeemer. But no matter how much strength you gave, it was never enough. Not because you failed, but because that burden was never yours to carry. When she regrets losing you, it's not just about missing your love. It's about realizing that she leaned on you for something you were never created to provide. She wanted you to steady what only God can stabilize. She looked to you to fill voids that love alone can't reach. And you, thinking love could conquer all, tried your best to be the answer. But even the purest human love has limits, and eventually you ran dry. Not because your love was weak, but because no man, no matter how faithful, can save another person from herself. Her regret comes with the realization that she asked you to do what she wasn't willing to do for herself. She wanted you to be her light while she stayed in the dark. She wanted you to fight for her heart while she resisted her own healing. And when it all fell apart, she may have blamed you, said, "You didn't do enough, didn't love enough, didn't stay long enough." But the truth is, you were carrying a weight that wasn't yours. Only God can heal a broken soul. Only He can restore what trauma, pain, and pride have shattered. You were trying to be the answer when you were meant to be a blessing, not a savior. When she comes back with regret in her eyes, understand this: her wounds are not yours to fix. Her journey of healing isn't something you can walk for her. You can forgive, you can show grace, you can even care, but you cannot save. That's between her and her Creator. And if she truly regrets losing you, she'll have to reckon with The fact that she didn't just lose a good man, she lost a man who was willing to fight a battle that wasn't his to begin with. You see, you weren't placed in her life to be her God. You were there to love her, to support her, to walk with her, but not to rescue her from herself. That role belongs to a higher power, and if she truly wants to change, if she truly wants to find peace, she must go to the only source that never runs dry, because only God can take a wounded heart and make it whole. And once she learns that, maybe, just maybe, she'll finally understand the gift she lost when she let you go. So now, as her voice echoes with regret and her heart whispers apologies too late, you must understand something deep and eternal. Your worth was never measured by her recognition. Your value was never dependent on her understanding. You were not broken because she walked away, and you are not restored because she now wants to come back. You stood as a man of love, of loyalty, of truth, and you did so with quiet strength, with a heart full of grace, and with hands that gave more than they ever took. Let her regret speak, yes, but do not let it chain you. Do not let her late awakening become your new burden. If she has truly changed, if she has turned her heart not just toward you, but toward healing, toward truth, toward God, then you will know it not just by her words, but by the fruit of her life. And if she hasn't, then walk on in peace, knowing you planted seeds in her life that only God Himself can bring to bloom. You were never the mistake. You were the lesson. You were the answered prayer she didn't recognize. And now, if she finally sees it, let that be between her and the one who gives light in the darkness. Because you, my friend, are not a man waiting to be chosen again. You are already chosen, already loved, already free. So lift your head. Walk in dignity. Let her regret be a quiet echo in the background of a life that is still moving forward. And may the next love, if it comes, meet you whole, healed, and wiser. Not because someone came back, but because you never lost yourself when they left.